The Rothschild Way, 39 miles between Woodwalton Fen and Wicken Fen. Continuing my love affair with the Cambridgeshire Fens, I walked the Rothschild Way in February 2020. The middle section of the Rothschild Way, which I had walked earlier on during the winter, runs in tandem with the Pathfinder Way, the Ouse Valley Way and the Fen Rivers Way. Wicken Fen and Woodwalton Fen are some of the last fragments of wild fen to survive after the fens were drained to create farmland several hundred years ago. Only 1% of the wild fens now remains. In 1899, Nathaniel Charles Rothschild, a banker, entomologist, visionary and avid conservationist, bought Wicken Fen to create Britain's first nature reserve after he realised that Britain's wild areas were disappearing at an alarming rate, and that if nothing was done, they and the wildlife that relied on them would be lost forever. He bought Woodwalton Fen in 1910. He gave Wicken Fen to the National Trust and Woodwalton Fen to the organisation which subsequently became the Royal Society of Wildlife Trusts. Today, these nature reserves are a haven for many rare or endangered species. Posts which were sunk into the clay layer that underlies the peat at nearby Home Fen in 1848 have recorded 4 metres of ground subsidence during the intervening period. Peatlands are our largest carbon store on land, and ever since the fens were drained, they have been drying out and releasing vast quantities of CO2 into the atmosphere. There is a very interesting habitat restoration project currently underway called the Great Fen Project, which aims to restore the lost fens in the area between Huntingdon and Peterborough, and in particular to link Home Fen with Woodwalton Fen. The entrance to Woodwalton Fen, one of the most peaceful places I have ever visited on my walks. Woodwalton Fen. A great sense of tranquility descended on me as I entered this fen, which is far lovelier than the more commercialised Wicken Fen. Woodwalton Fen. Woodwalton Fen. Rothschild's bungalow, which he used as a base on his field trips. Beautiful carved bench near the bungalow. Woodwalton Fen. One of the lakes at Woodwalton Fen. Cruising past Ramsey Heights. 20 Pence Marina near Cheer Fen. The Lazy Otter pub near Streatham, and still no signs of any otters in the wild. View looking across towards the River Cam and Ely Cathedral in the far distance, with literally hundreds of geese on the river. The banks and dikes were littered with the shells of freshwater mussels that had obviously been caught in the river by aquatic birds and taken up onto the bank to be pecked open and eaten. Various species of gulls, ducks, geese and other aquatic birds, as well as otters, are their main predators. Wicken Fen. Swans along the edge of Wicken Fen on the Rothschild Way. I also saw a Chinese water deer, which came as a big surprise because I had never seen anything quite like it before, and for a moment I thought I was seeing one of those mythical creatures which are said to inhabit the fens. It is a small, stocky creature with a teddy bear-like face. The windmill at Wicken Fen. The entrance to Wicken Fen. Lessons learned. I was fascinated by the work of Nathaniel Rothschild, who is regarded as a pioneer of nature conservation in Britain. He is also remembered for the Rothschild list, which catalogues 284 sites across Britain that he believed would be suitable for creating nature reserves. Apparently, he had a huge collection of 260,000 fleas, which is now in the Natural History Museum. Wicken Fen was the first nature reserve owned by the National Trust.